I'm going to fix 5 really common alignment mistakes that you need to avoid to make sure that you are not like that guy over there. That is where you were aiming. You were always going to hit it there. Right, let's fix them. The first mistake I see is actually aiming at the flag. That might seem strange because obviously that's where you want the ball to go, but great players actually don't do that. Come and have a look at this. I've placed in front of my golf ball a tee. You can see that pretty clearly. It's about a foot in front of my golf ball. And I've placed that tee directly on line to the flag that's in the distance. Great players always choose an intermediate target. So yes, my end goal might be the flag, but that flag is going to be 120 yards away, 220 yards away. It might even be 400 yards away if it's a tee shot on a par 4. It's quite difficult to aim your club face at something that's so far away. What great golfers do is they stand back here and they choose their end target, whether that be the flag or the middle of the fairway, and they imagine a line from that point back to the ball, and they select something that's on the ground within the first couple of feet. A blemish, a spot, a mark, a different piece of grass, wherever it may be. Obviously I've used a tee for visual references. And then what I can do is when I set my club face in, I simply need to aim my club face at that intermediate target. Theoretically, I don't even need to be looking at my end target to know that my club face is perfectly square to that target. What is perfectly square? Well, the leading edge of the golf club, or the grooves, are at 90 degrees to a line that would be from my ball to that intermediate target. So that is the first point. Do not aim at that flag. That's the end goal, but you want to be aiming and building your alignment around an intermediate target. Walking into your golf ball closed is a sure way to get your alignment way out of whack. What do I mean by that? Well, let's quickly go through what we see great players do. Great players tend to be open and then alignment goes correct. So they would sort of walk into the golf ball, and as they walk in, their body would be very open. You can see that my body line is way left into the ocean. They all have slightly different routines, but they're going to go from this open position. Maybe their routine is club in first, and then they take this open body position and they start to square it off to the target. That's what great players do. I'd love you to go through that routine. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. What I often see is golfers sort of walking in too much from the side. So they'll walk in too much from over here. And as they walk in, as they approach the ball, they're already closed off to the target. You can see there that my body line, whilst I've not yet taken a perfect setup, is way up the right. Really, really common to see that. And so it's hard to then kind of shuffle around. And if you do shuffle around, look what happens to that ball position. That ball is currently in my middle of my stance. If I shuffle myself round now to sort of get myself lined up to that target, it's way back, I'm all out of sync, it's going to throw my shoulders out of alignment. It's just, like I say, it's a sure way to get yourself out of whack and out of sync. So what I like to see my players do is actually walk in a little bit more from behind the golf ball with an open body position, aligning the club face first to that intermediate target. Everything is open. Once the club face is aligned, you then can build your stance around that. And that's a much better way to ensure that you've got good alignment. How you check your alignment is really key. If you are aligned incorrectly, you need to know. You need to have some feedback that tells you you're not aligned correctly, therefore you can step off and go back in. How you move your head is key. Head lift or head swivel. Avoid the head lift, let's go with the head swivel. What do we mean by that? Well, let's just get myself set up around the golf ball. When talking alignment, we talk very much parallel lines. Toes, knees, hips, shoulders, and eyes all should be relatively parallel. And you can see where those parallel lines run, kind of up towards that flag. So if I put my body in this position and I take my eyes, which are also parallel to my body, I lift my head, I rotate my body, my eyes are now horizontal-ish. And what do I see? I see everything. I see a beautiful golf course, I see the ocean, I see a stunning clubhouse, I see everything. It doesn't actually tell me what my alignment was like. So if I aim right, lift my head, turn, I see the same thing. It didn't feel any different to me. Here's what I'd love you to do. Let's say I aim a little bit right. Club goes in, body sets around. What I'm now going to do, one of the looks at the hole is going to be a head swivel. So I'm going to lift up my left ear, drop my right ear, and take my eyes basically up my body line. So when I do this, first thing I see, right hand edge of that clubhouse, alignment was poor. So when I lift and swivel, I see it, doesn't really give me any feedback. When I rotate my head, my eyes go up my body line. And I'm kind of looking for what is the first thing that I see. So if I go for something which is a little bit better in terms of alignment, notice how my head swivel there is taking my eyes up that body line. Get myself set up, swivel, I see flag. That gives me a lot more confirmation my alignment was good. So one of your looks should be a head swivel to confirm whether your alignment is good. If it isn't, step off, reset, go again. Fourth mistake, biggie, where you aim. We've been talking about how to aim, but where you aim is super important. So you can see beautiful green down the distance. Flag is actually pretty much in the middle of the green, so I'd probably like to be in the middle of the green where the flag is. So I'm going to aim directly at the flag. Or am I? I shouldn't be aiming based on where I want my ball to go. I should be aiming based on my shot pattern. So let's say I've gone onto the range this morning. I've hit some shots to loosen up, and all of the irons that I've hit have been drifting a little bit to the right. And you know what? That's my typical shot pattern. I'm that golfer who, when I've got a target, everything is a little bit fadey, drifts a little bit right. That's my shot pattern. I need to be choosing an alignment that matches that. Because if I aim at that flag, then I know the reality is that my shots are going to be somewhere between the flag and the bunker on the right. Now, if there's room there, that's fine, but I want you to be aligning based on your shot patterns, not based on that perfect shot that you're imagining. We all stand there and we kind of see and we visualize the perfect shot, but it's not actually how we align. So if I have got that shot pattern, I'm going to pick, one of the windows on the sort of tallest part of the clubhouse. So the window at the top, which is, I'm going to say, 20 feet left of the flag. So that's my target. I then pick my intermediate target. Club face goes in, body's open, squares up. I'm now aiming out to the left, which is based on my shot pattern. The most difficult thing now, and I know you're thinking this, commitment. Committing to that swing, even though you feel like you're aiming left of the green, maybe into a greenside bunker, maybe it's left of the fairway, but that's the skill of the game. The great golfers are the ones who can commit to their strategy. This is how we do it. Pick a target based on your shot pattern, not the perfect shot that you're imagining. And the last one, and I can't believe that I do have to cover this, but I do have to cover this. This is probably the worst mistake that I see golfers make, and it is not even looking at the target. I do see this, and there's a scenario where it tends to happen a little bit more. We'll come to that in a moment, but it wouldn't be uncommon for me to see someone on the golf course, standing here, looking at the green, looking at the target, but as they walk in, their eyes fix on the ball, and they never even double check their alignment. They just stand here, focused on the golf ball, and they make a swing. And it hasn't even entered their mind to confirm, to check, to see what their alignment is like. Now, when does that happen? Well, in my experience, that tends to happen when the golfer is, I call it internally focused. I want you to be externally focused. Externally focused means that I'm seeing the shot that I want. I'm visualizing the ball flight, I'm visualizing how much the wind is going to affect the shot, I'm visualizing everything about it. And as I walk in, I'm really seeing that shot, I've got a feel of what that shot is like. And as I look at the flag, I'm visualizing all of those things. The golfer who's more internally focused very often is the golfer who's had recent lessons, or they've been working on their golf swing, or they're concerned about their takeaway. And what they often do is they walk in, eyes go on the ball, club goes in, and already their mind is going to, I've got to make sure I don't take the club on the inside, I've got to make sure I close the face this way, I've got to fold my trail arm. And they are so internally focused that they can actually set up with really poor alignment and they don't even realize it. And if they were to just take a little look, it would be straight away obvious that they are aimed way out to the right. So make sure that you're externally focused. You're thinking about the shot. You're visualizing what you're trying to do with the golf ball, not so much what you're trying to do with your golf swing.